Hello, fellow chefs. Alright, we got a chili recipe this time. I know I've done chili before, but I'm going to keep trying many more chili recipes until we find the perfect one. This is the best meal for winter. So I use some ghee butter here to butter up the pans. And I usually double up my recipes. So the normal recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground beef, but I have 4 pounds here. And I'm browning the meat in this one pan. And I got the pot because eventually we're going to put everything in a pot. So, I was just trying to use a large pan to brown as much meat as I could and brown the other meat in the pot, but eventually I'll throw the meat into the one pot. I just didn't feel like using another pan. And while you got your meat heating up, you can start doing other things, like opening up all your cans you'll be using, like your cans of beans. You can use black beans or red kidney beans. Open up some tomato sauce. And then, if you like, you can put them in a strainer and just give them a quick rinse. Wash off all that preservatives, And then you can start up, after you rinse your beans, you can start getting your garlic ready and you're getting your onion ready. Whatever the recipe usually calls for, I usually use more onion. Here's our garlic. What I've been doing is I just smash the bulb to get all the little pieces, and then, they say to recommend to use the knife and press into the garlic, but lately I've just been chopping off both ends because sometimes you get lucky and that little outer shell just falls off. And sometimes I cut my onion like this, where I cut off both ends and then cut it in half, just to make peeling off that outside layer easier. But that can lead your eyes to water a lot more. Sometimes it's better just to leave the head of the onion on. So maybe not cut off both ends. Pay attention to your meat while you're doing all this other prep stuff. If you have it on too high, you might want to flip your meat over. But, one thing while you're in the kitchen, you just want to always be doing other stuff so, you don't get overwhelmed. So here we are flipping the meat. Make sure we brown both sides. Besides the onion and garlic that we have to deal with, we got a bunch of other ingredients to cut up. We're going to have a bunch of peppers. You can even add jalapeno peppers if you want. And some celery, which is optional. Just do a quick mince of your garlic here. And then do a quick dice of your onions. You just cut it till you're almost at the end of the onion, but not all the way. And then you just slice the other way. You have a nice easy dice. Bam. Easy. And keep some space on your cutting board. What I do for my peppers here is I usually just cut off the top and bottom. Then I'll cut a slice down the pepper, and then I'll trim out the rinds, and I'll just, pour off the seeds into the garbage. Then you cut them in little strips, and then you cut them the other way like the onion to get a nice dice going. Our meat's just about finished here, so we're putting it in the pot so we can give our onions and peppers some cooking. So here we're just having about 2 tablespoons of worcestershire sauce, maybe a little bit more, and that's what we'll cook our cut ingredients in. And as you can see, we didn't get through cutting everything because we still have a jalapeno pepper to cut and celery. So here's how I cut the peppers. I just cut off the top and bottom, cut down the side. It has all the seeds in the middle there, And then as these rinds, you just kind of slice off. You don't want to, completely cut apart the pepper. You just want to get rid of them. Or maybe you like them, you can keep them. That's up to you. But, jalapenos can be really spicy. Maybe you like that. So maybe you keep the seeds if you want. But I just dice it up too. Just mix it in with the other peppers. Give our celery a quick wash. Optional ingredient. Don't need it. but feel free to cut it however you want. You know, this is your chili, and I recommend experimenting however you want. There's plenty of things you can do. You know, and then once you cook everything, we're gonna add it to the pot. That's a step to the chili here. Especially you don't have a slow cooker, but all those optional things that you can get for your kitchen, I find they don't really help that much. Like a rice cooker, you know, slow cooker, you know, maybe even an air fryer, whatever. You have an oven and a stove and a pot and a pan. You can pretty much do anything. So, you know, don't feel like you need to get all those extra fancy kitchen ingredients. So we dumped in our beans. We dumped in our peppers and celery. We added to those 2 cans of tomato sauce we opened earlier. Here we're adding sugar, cumin. We used about 4 teaspoons cumin, 2 teaspoons salt, about 6 to 8 tablespoons of chili powder. It's going to be the dominant ingredient, and you can add 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper if you want. And then you can either add 2 cups of water or 2 cups of beer, up to you, your preference. We added in the water, as you can see. Then you mix all the ingredients together, you get it boiling, and then once you get it boiling, you turn it down, cover, and cook for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You know, just check it, and you decide when it's done. And then when we got that cooking, now we're preheating the oven, because we're going to make cornbread. And it's not too difficult to make. So we added a cup of flour in. We're adding in 2/3 of a cup of sugar. We added in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. We're adding in a cup of yellow cornmeal. Want it grounded like we have here. Here's the salt. Just give it a quick mix, because we have some more wet ingredients coming in. One of those being the egg, which is just clearing some little space in the center for the egg. Bam. There it is. We're supposed to add a cup of milk, but I had a freshly sealed milk in the fridge that I was going to use next week, so I didn't want it to go bad, so I looked for a substitute, and that's why you see that cottage cheese there. And then we added in a 1/3 cup of oil, and just that's cooking for you. You can substitute a lot of things, and it'll just work out fine. So don't worry, have some faith. The cottage cheese will work out. And then you just want to mix everything to like get it nice and solid. And then I was looking around for a good circular pan to bake this in, and I didn't have that. I had a nice rectangular glass baking trays, so I just got a pan that I had instead. And I thought to myself, let's hope this works out. I did burn myself later a little bit, because once you put the pan there, you gotta remember, with a stainless steel pan like this, everything gets hot, especially the handle, especially when it's baking in the oven. So be careful of that. Yeah, just keep mixing and pressing your cornbread mix together until it's all nice and solid, and then you can put it in the oven. And don't forget, the whole thing will get hot. And we'll just leave that in there for 30 minutes. Hopefully your chili will be finished cooking like ours did, and you can go put it in your meal prep containers while the cornbread's done baking. Here we see through movie magic that it just finished baking. We'll put it right next to our chili. And then, of course, you got to divvy it out into all your little containers here for the week. It's the best thing about meal prepping. Maybe you have to eat everything, the same thing for a whole week. But if it's a good recipe, I really don't mind it. There's some people out there who eat the same thing every day. And next week, if you don't like this recipe, you can make a new recipe. And you have some other optional things you can add to your chili. You can top with some cheese. For some variety, I don't always add cheese to all of the containers. One thing I did forget to get that I love to get with chili is sour cream. And then maybe you can get, a garnish if you want. Maybe some green onion leaves or some chives or something. Try something else out. But the cornbread actually turned out really nice. Although we did add a lot of sugar, as you saw, so maybe you can tone down the sugar. And I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Let me know if you have a really good chili recipe that you want to share. And hope you enjoyed watching.